About the author. David Clarke was born in Oldham, Lancashire, in 1949. During the 60s he and his older brother Michael began to enjoy lives of crime, promiscuity and infamy during their teenage years, whilst living in Aylesbury, Buckinghamshire. They lived with their parents and younger sister in Aylesbury and became criminals. They were both sent to prison in 1967 for malicious wounding and carrying a firearm without a license. David served his time in a young person's Borstal Training Institute at Dover, and Michael served his time in Maidstone Prison. On leaving Dover Borstal in 1968, David was determined to have a good time living a life of crime, with no fear, or belief in God, respect for society, parents, or the wider family. He proceeded on a 3-year career of undetected crime until he met a Christian woman who informed him that his lifestyle was wrong. It became David's opinion that Christianity was for people who could not enjoy life, or stand on their own 2 feet. On the 16th of January 1970 David was arrested whilst he experienced a bad trip on LSD, but not by the police. It was by Jesus Christ who spoke to him after he had cried out to God for help. Jesus said to David that the horrors that he had experienced was nothing compared to what hell was like. David turned away that Friday night, from a sinful life of crime and immorality to follow Christ as best he could. David began to read the Bible immediately, and other Christian books, and attended a wide range of churches. He finally confessed to the police to 24 crimes that he had committed during his release from Borstal in 1968 and his conversion in January 1970. David eventually joined the Bearton Strict and Particular Baptist Church in 1974. And then trained as a lecturer, commencing teaching electronics at Luton College of Higher Education, and taught for 22 years in colleges of higher and further education, until 2001. The Bearton Church, which was founded in 1831, became a Gospel Standard listed cause in 1981, and in 1982 David was called by the Lord and sent by the church to preach the gospel wherever the Lord opened up the door for him to speak. David then sought to reach his old friends from the past, and organized a preaching meeting at the Bearton Chapel in 1983, inviting all his old friends to come and hear of all what the Lord had done for him. Providentially, that preaching meeting was televised on video and is available on YouTube under the title David Preaching at Bearton Strict and Particular Baptist, 5th of June 1983. David recalls that it became apparent after this meeting his real troubles began, and as a result he seceded from the Bearton Church in 1984. An account of this secession was written by David's own hand entitled, The Bearton Crisis, and now republished in a further title, Let Christian Men Be Men. This story is a complete account of David's early life, experience of conversion from crime to Christ, and life in the Bearton Strict and Particular Baptist Church. He concludes that men may begin well in their faith towards God, trusting in the person and finished works of Jesus Christ alone for their salvation, but then fall from grace, falling into the error of seeking to please God by works according to their own inventions or distortions of the law of Moses. They fall into the trap of making themselves perfect in the flesh and then judge others who do not act like them. The story continues to the time of Michael's arrest in the Philippines, in 1995, and his 16-year prison sentence. The story goes on through to Michael, David's brother's own conversion from crime to Christ, in New Bilibid prison some 30 years after David's own conversion to Christianity. This occurring after he was convinced that Jesus was the Christ, the Son of the living God, through reading C.S. Lewis's book, Mere Christianity. It tells of his baptism as a Christian in an old oil drum in that prison in September 2000. This story demonstrates the manifold grace of God, in saving 2 brothers from a life of sin, crime and immorality, through the person of the Lord Jesus Christ. This book is really David's confession and testimony written for the defense and confirmation of the gospel. David also believes the things that have happened to him have fallen out rather unto the furtherance of the gospel. Phil 1. Verse 7. David's solution to help and assist in the promotion of the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ is the creation of the Bearton Particular Baptist Open College. This is outlined in the last chapter of this book. Those wishing to be trained and educated in the doctrines of grace can enroll and obtain all the assistance they need.